Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
First, a word from our sponsor. The Daily Compliance News for Friday, October 13, 2023. Yes, it's Friday, October 13th, the primetime edition. And we begin with that story from the Wall Street Journal, which is, what can leaders learn about Deion Sanders' leadership style? For those who don't know, Deion Sanders is a former NFL and Major League Baseball star. He is now the coach of the Colorado Buffaloes, and he has brought a very unique style to college football. And he is showing that as a top former professional athlete, he is challenging his players to become even better players themselves. And it's a very interesting way to coach, but it's also an interesting way for leadership. And he feels he's making his players feel like they are a special access to some greatness inside themselves that they can tap into. Next up from Reuters, Goldman Sachs imbroglio around 1MDB is still roiling, and this time it is over allegations of, 1MDB and the Malaysian government agreed with Goldman that Goldman would make a $250 million payment if the country had not received that much in reimbursements or recoupment by the summer of 2022. Now, there's a dispute whether the company did, and now Goldman is suing Malaysia, or at least bringing an arbitration claim, saying that not only did they do so, but Goldman made an interim payment and no more money is due. So 1MDB continues to roil Goldman Sachs. Next up from the Financial Times, former Barclays and Morgan Stanley, Barclays boss and Morgan Stanley executive Jeff Staley has been banned from the financial services industry in the United Kingdom for his lying about his role for misrepresentations around his role with Jeffrey Epstein. And finally, as reported in the Washington Post, Caroline Ellison, former paramour of Sam Bankman-Fried, continues her explosive testimony in his criminal trial. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.